What's up, everybody? Matt Gajewski here, back again with Awesemo channel, talking some college football DFS. It is November 7th, and we have a showdown slate at hand. But before we get started, make sure to hit the up button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all content goes live. Short slate today, so we will get right to it. This is our player usage data tool. If you are just checking out Awesemo time, we have all sorts of tools available: projections, ownership projections, slate write-up, everything you need to dominate college football. And recently, we released our college basketball product, some of the same tools you are seeing here available in the basketball season. But diving into this game, we have Pittsburgh, a 6-point favorite in a game with a massive 70-point total. Both these offenses are just absolutely dynamic. Both are extremely up-tempo. Pitt, top 10 offense in terms of play rate and pass, 53% pass rate there. North Carolina is a little more heavy towards the run. They're still running about 74.5 plays per game. So just elite offense expectation. This is one you're definitely going to want to catch. First things first, we will start with the North Carolina side, and we have a player, Sam Howell, who is getting exceedingly expensive. Sam Howell already has 5 games north of 100 rushing yards. He has 199 rushing yards on the year, and then he's still getting it done as a passer. Nearly 270 yards per game on 30 attempts. This guy 5 games over 300 passing yards as well. It's a tougher matchup against Pittsburgh's defense. Pitt is a little weaker against the pass, but Sam Howell is involved in so many different areas of North Carolina's offense that he's a player that's really hard to avoid. The question becomes, do you play at captain or do you use him in the utility spot? There's a lot of interesting ways to approach Howell today, but he's not a player to leave out of lineups, out of just the most enormous tournaments on the site. He's easy to stack as well. When you look to the receivers, you have Josh Downs with a 40% target share, averaging 12.5 targets per game over North Carolina's last 4 games, well over 100 receiving yards per game. Downs is a player that is also a very expensive but a solid stacking option here. One thing I like to do with North Carolina is run out stacks with multiple players and use onslaughts. This is something I'll be doing with Pittsburgh as well. Pairing Sam Howell not just with Josh Downs, but also looking to some of the cheap pass catchers like Antoine Green. Antoine Green has received a price bump in recent weeks. They had Emery Simmons and Coffrey bound transfer. So snaps have just solidified. Targets have solidified. He has at least 7 targets in 2 straight games. Still lower upside than Downs, but very involved. And then if you want to get risky, you have Justin Olsen at 4,200. He's a player that has received exactly 2 targets in 3 straight games. But over their last 2, he has an 89% route rate. So it's a guy that's on the field a ton, just not the most involved. But if you're looking for multi-stacks or an avenue to play the studs, he is cheap enough. At tight end, Garrett Walston is splitting time 50-50 with Kamari Morales. I think both are options for just pure punt plays in the slate. Walston being cheaper, so he kind of gives you a little bit of price savings where you can get up to some of the studs. In the run game, again, tougher matchup against Pitt's good run defense, but Ty Chandler is continuing to receive more and more opportunities in this offense. He has at least 18 carries in 2 of their last 3 games, now up to nearly 100 rushing yards per game. And he's become more involved in the pass game as well. 5 targets combined over the last 3 games. So Chandler is a cheaper captain, a contrarian captain, with people potentially gravitating more towards Howell and Downs and the pass catchers. And then if you're just looking to completely punt, DJ Jones is the change of pace back, averaging 8.9 touches per game. Recently, that number has fallen in favor of Ty Chandler, but DJ Jones is at a very cheap price, where even if he receives 5-6 carries and a target, he's somebody that could maybe get you there based on what else is in your lineup. On the Pittsburgh side, Kenny Pickett has been one of the best signal callers in the country. He's not quite as mobile as Howell, but he still has 234 rushing yards this year. Extremely active as a passer, 350 passing yards per game on 38 attempts. Again, Pittsburgh running 80 plays per game, passing 53% of the time. Pickett, a lot of times, is just going to straight up backdoor his way into 300 yards based on volume. So he's another phenomenal play here. Also easy to stack. Pittsburgh's dealing with some injuries at receiver, which is actually condensed opportunities. Taysir Mack missed their last game. He didn't travel. His arm was in a sling. Status hasn't been updated, but that doesn't remain positive moving forward. Oval missed their last game. No update on his status, but he didn't even play a snap. We already know Jordan Addison is the alpha in terms of targets. He's back-to-back 12-target games, averaging 9.5 over their last 4. He's also had 110 receiving yards per game. He's right in line with the Josh Downs of the world. Ultimately, Downs has better target volume overall, so slight preference to him, but Addison's in play definitely. for Pittsburgh onslaught stacks or contrarian captains. And there, we've seen Jared Wayne and Shockey Jacques Louis enter full-time roles in the offense, both above 70% of the routes last week. Wayne has been the dynamic pass catcher. He has target counts of 7 and 9, but on the year, he's averaging just 5.1. He's going to be behind Jordan Addison in terms of targets. It's just a matter of, do you play him out of the sake of ownership, leverage, looking to be contrarian? Wayne is heavily involved and he deserves consideration. However, Shockey Jacques Louis also ran around on over 70% of dropbacks and saw 7 targets himself. He only averages 2.9 on the season, but he's a burner in the offense and he appears to have taken on a larger role. So 6,300 is a cheap price for him. From there, you also have tight end Lucas Crowe, who fell down to 2 targets in their most recent game, but he's averaging 4.1 in the season, 4.3 in their last 4 games. Lucas Crowe is one of the preferred punt plays on the slate. He's a mainstay in the offense, consistent route runner, snap share guy, just a little lower upside than the receivers. But Crowe could be the avenue to paying the expensive price for some of these guys on the slate. In the run game, you have a 3-way timeshare at running back, which is sort of narrowed to mainly 2 backs of late for Pitt. It's Israel Abanikanda and Rodney Hammond. Abanikanda has been banged up. The 9 and 6 carry games were games he's dealt with an injury, but positively, Abanikanda popped back up to 14 touches in their most recent game, been extremely efficient, and he's the team's preferred pass catcher. He has 12 targets combined over their last 3 games. And while Rodney Hammond has been really efficient, he's seen at least 11 carries in 2 of the last 3 and had 16 carries in Pitt's most recent game. Hammond just doesn't have a pass game role. While Abanikanda is more expensive, that pass game role gives him a solid floor. So he's a contrarian option worth targeting. Hammond at a cheaper price. We mentioned the consistent role in the run game. That's something we can fall back on. And for those of you looking for cheaper plays, Vincent Davis averages 12 touches per game, but he's recently taken a backseat to a healthy Abanikanda and a healthy Rodney Hammond. So expecting Vincent Davis to work as the number 3 back, expecting between 5 to 8 touches for him, but a little bit expensive for the role he's projecting with. The key to this slate is going to be balancing your value with your expensive plays and finding contrarian captains. But of course, love Pickett, love Howell, love Downs and Addison as contrarian plays, and Ty Chandler, as well as Abanikanda, Hammond for your very contrarian options. But that'll do it today. Let me know in the comment section your favorite plays on the single game DFS slate, Pittsburgh versus North Carolina. Would love to hear it. I'm Matt Gajewski on Twitter at Matt_Gajewski. We will see you guys again next time.